Okay, good morning, world. How are we today? Tuesday morning here this morning. And what I was thinking about, what I want to talk about, is sort of an accumulation of things, sort of a mixture of things. But it's mostly got to do with that we are all only where we are, you know? And so, like, this thought actually stemmed from me questioning why it is, why does it seem like so natural to people, to humans, to be judgmental? And I thought, is that a natural human behavior, a natural human trait? But then actually I was thinking about Jesus, and I thought, well, he wasn't walking around with judgment and all this sort of stuff. And, you know, for quite some time now, you know, people have been trying to live as close to Jesus Christ as they can. So I sort of thought maybe it's not a natural trait of people to be judgmental. And then I thought, well, where else does it come from? And then I thought, maybe judgment, you know, along with other traits like procrastinating and fear, and not following through with ideas or, you know, ambitions. You know, maybe it just all has to do with the fact that we are all just only where we're at, you know, and so you look at the world through those lenses. You know, your bubble. It's like you're living in your bubble, your little world. I'm living in my bubble, my little world. Everyone's living in their own little world bubbles, you know. And sometimes you also don't understand when you see other people living in their bubble world. Sometimes you don't understand because it's not your lived experience. You know, sometimes it takes you know, walking a mile in another man's shoes to understand why he is where he is. You know, and sometimes you'll never quite understand, you know, other people's circumstances because you won't have the same experiences that led up to that. You know, not just led up to the circumstances, like say a living situation or behaviours or whatever, but, you know, the person's character and belief system and all sorts of things. And then I thought actually how crazy it is that we're all out here being judgmental of each other, because really I think that everyone is quite judgmental. I don't think any of us are free from that. You know, I don't think that any of us even intentionally work on that, you know what I mean, to not be judgmental. I think that in fact we've become so lazy with you know, staying on top of negative traits, that, you know, now negative traits, or, you know, what is referred to as sins, are just commonplace. You know, it's just seen as like normal. It's normal to be gluttonous. It's normal to be greedy. It's normal to be judgmental. You know what I mean? Like, that's the world we're living in now. And it's almost like encouraged, isn't it? You know, with lots of things around the world too, even like TV programs and commentary here on TV, or in movies, or you kind of replicate, emulate what you see, and so we're not exactly living with like the world's best influence, in our face all the time, are we? That there is a lot of trash on TV, there is a lot of trash on the mobile phones, and all of that is what you're influenced by. Your behavior is influenced by it, your mindset is influenced by it. It's like when you want to be a winner, when you want to be successful, and you want to elevate yourself and your life, you're supposed to, surround yourself with people who are of a particular caliber. You're supposed to surround yourself with successful people if you want to also be successful and learn the ways of that and the mindset of that. And you're also supposed to consume as much, visual and audio content as possible that also is to do with that success that you're trying to achieve, to elevate yourself in your life. And so if you're just sort of consuming trash all the time, then you're not going to be like an enlightened person, are you? You're going to just emulate sort of the trash that you see without you even realizing it. I feel like this is just something that probably a lot of other people just know this, and maybe this is a very simple thought, I don't know, but just thinking that everyday people are not trained to really focus on their mindset and what they're consuming and what they're surrounding themselves with, and what belief systems they are cementing into their mind. You really do have to change your mindset, I think, about everything, about wealth, money, about success, about people, about the world, in order to achieve those things, if that's what you're into, if that's what you want. If you think all of that is terrible, and only bad people have money, success and power and all that, then you're kind of going to what's the word? Like when we talk about energies and things that are magnetized to us or away from us, you're kind of pushing it away from you, aren't you? Energetically, if your mindset is negative about it. But I don't think that people are in the habit, even through school and stuff, like you're not taught to think about wealth and success and power and whatever as a mindset and something that's good to have. You are just sort of taught how to be a worker for somebody else. And I think that's the difference between say the wealthy elite people around the world and families. They teach their children to have a wealthy and successful mindset. They do. Their children are educated from a very young age in business and operations management and accounting, finance, how to speak with people, how to assert themselves, and all of this sort of thing, because all of those skills, all of that knowledge is very important for them to continue, say like a family dynasty, a family business, and keep that money growth up, and yeah, so anyway, I was just, all of this obviously came from thinking about how people are judgmental. But then as I'm thinking about this thought, I'm realizing that it's sort of the way that we are programmed, isn't it? Because having judgment on other people, like you are encouraged to do with, particular TV shows, like reality TV shows and stuff, you're kind of encouraged because it's almost seen as like fun to do, entertaining, and then it's like we keep the dum-dums entertained with their judgment and their trash, while the elite people are educating their children from quite young about business and success. Do you know what I mean? And so yeah, I feel that more people should be, sort of doing like self-help, but to do with your mindset and to do with success and being self-confident and believing that you're worth it. I think that's the biggest problem. I think that most people don't believe that they are worth wealth and success, and that might, like, maybe it's intimidating to them, or maybe it's because no one in their family has ever been extremely wealthy or extremely successful in business prior to them, so they don't believe that it's attainable for themselves. But that is the wrong mindset to have. We should all be walking around, like when you're a child and you think you can do anything and be anything, the world is your oyster. Like, what happened to that? Is it because of the school system, knocking it out of you, or the world, the workforce beat it out of you? We should all still have that mindset that, if you want to go to space, you can go to space. Look at celebrities. Celebrities just do it for funsies, yeah, I'm just like, even talking about celebrities, all those people that decided they wanted to be a famous singer, they just were like sort of arrogant enough, just so self-confident, that they just like pushed for it and became a famous singer or actor or whatever. What's the difference between them and you? The only difference is the fact that they didn't let fear stop them. They you can say what you want about celebrities and maybe the bad influence that they are on children and all this sort of stuff, and not always such good character, but at least they are confident enough to push through fear and get what they want. Why can't you do that in your life? How that is to be you, like your dreams, your ambitions, maybe in a more positive way, maybe helping people in some way, some capacity, especially if you get great wealth. I'm just saying that the only difference between us and them is the mindset. It's the attitude. It's the it's like road mapping in your brain. If there has been highways laid down in your brain that says you are nothing but a worker, you are not intelligent enough to start a business and be successful and build wealth and become very wealthy and start a dynasty for your family. And you know, if that's your mindset, if that's the roadmap that's been built into your brain, then you've got a lot of work to do to dig up that road and lay down a new road, you know, lay down some new highway in your brain, because you're telling yourself so much negative things that it's going to hold you back. You know, it's like a roadblock. You know, it's going to hold you back from success. It's going to hold you back from even trying to you know, start that business, or you know, write that book, or whatever it might be. And you know, I'm not just saying this for other people, I'm saying this for myself as well. You know, I have meticulously you know, researched and planned out many different business ideas throughout my life. And you know, yeah, you know, there's always sort of like at the end, the part where you're supposed to you know, make applications and put money on the line, and these sort of things. That's where I start getting self-doubt. That's where I start to worry, and don't take the leap of faith that I should be taking. And you know, I don't come from a background of family members who ran businesses and became you know, super wealthy and things like that. And so maybe, you know, in my subconscious as well, maybe that also is playing a part, thinking that I'm not one of those people. But it's just not true though, is it? You know, I mean, yes, okay, there's a lot of people around the world who are wealthy and successful and powerful because their, you know, family for generations before them was that way. But there's also so many self-made millionaires, billionaires, trillionaires, isn't there? You know, there's so many people who are entrepreneurs that come up with ideas, who invent stuff, you know, or who just like really come from nothing and figure out a way to make a business and make it, you know, boom. And what is the difference between them and us? You know, the only difference is that they don't let fear, you know, roadblock them, and they don't stop pursuing their ambitions, their dreams, their goals, because of fear or because of wrong thinking. You know, you have to be a little bit overconfident. You have to be a bit arrogant about what you want, don't you? Otherwise, you're kind of never going to take the leap. You're never going to push through the fear. You're never going to do what it is that you want to do. You're going to, you know, have, you know, your other type of life that you can lead, that is not anything that you've been dreaming of. You know, and I really think it's sad when people have dreams die inside themselves. And I think it's sad when people, you know, wake up one day and they're old and they look back on their life and they're filled with regret that they never took the leap of faith, and they never told the person that they loved them, and they never, you know, opened up that business that they wanted to, and they never followed this hobby and tried to make it into a career, and, you know, all these sort of things. Because it's like, you know, life is so precious and special, and why like aren't we out here just like living our life that way, you know, knowing how precious and special it is? And, you know, it's so much more interesting and cool, I think, too, to like, you know, live life being you, you know, like be you. You know, you don't have to be the same as, you know, Bob or Jane. You don't have to be ticking all the same boxes as everyone in your neighborhood. You don't have to be, you know, dressing the same or speaking the same or acting the same or liking the same things as everybody else. You know, it's so much more special to be you. You are uniquely you. And I bet you've got cool ideas, and I bet you would be successful if you push through the fear, you know, at what it is that you want to do in your life. And you know, you can look around as well, and some kids, like some teenagers, are just like that, aren't they? Where they're just like, yep, no, I'm just going to go to uni, I'm just going to move to the city, I'm just going to do this, I'm just going to do that, and they're just like full confidence. You know, and like my oldest daughter is like that, and just like there's not any kind of resistance in their mind. There's no fear, there's no nothing holding them back mentally. And you know, it's so good when you see that in people, isn't it? It's like they've really got the spark of life in them. And you know, then you can have the opposite, where you can see that the spark is like almost out in some people, isn't it? So anyway, yeah, sort of a mishmash topic this morning. But yeah, so you know, key points: we all need to be less judgmental, and actually, we should all be working on you know, not sinning. But we also need to be working on you know, the highways that have been built inside our brains, and retraining ourselves, retraining our brains. You know, watch some of the YouTube content that's out there. Buy some you know, books about this topic. I forget his name. There is a really good guy who's all about you can buy like tickets to like webinars and stuff that he does. Tony, I was gonna say Tony Collins, but I don't think that's it. I think it's Tony something. Anyway, and he does, you know, all of those sort of talks where it's all about you know, changing your mindset, you know, and your belief system about your life, the world, yourself, in your brain, in order to you know, start living the life that you want to live and attracting to you what you want to attract. And yeah, I think that more people should be on that road and doing that, because you know, what's the point in going through life believing that you're not worthy of the lifestyle that you want, you know, the things in your life that you want, you know, being successful at you know, this business or that, or that you don't deserve wealth. I mean, you know, there are people out there as well who, you know, they are 100% believing, I deserve to win the lottery, I deserve to you know, have millions of dollars handed to me, and they might even attract that really into their life, because they're just so it's sort of like arrogance. It's, you know, just like a real confidence that yep, no, why not, you know, why not me? I think that is there is something about that, isn't there? You know, when we talk about attracting things to us or pushing things away from us, I think a lot of people are scared of money and what money seems to represent to them, and might even energetically push money away from them, have money problems because of the negative association connotation that they have with it. You know, I have heard that be talked about before as well, so there could be something on that. Anywho, I'm rambling. I'm going to leave it there. You all have a good day. Thank you for watching, and I will see you all soon.